Hello and welcome to the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley's program for this week. My name is Mitty Chang. I'm the president of this Rotary Club. Every week we bring to you a new program on education, technology, innovation, and humanitarian service. I'm excited for our speaker this week, but before introducing her and her guests, I'd like to introduce one of our members on the call. Below me is our member Monique. Monique, got to wave at people. Monique is our library director in Palo Alto. And she's also been a member of our club for going on several months and almost a year, actually. So excited to have her on board with us. And of course, we have our guest speaker, Susie. And Susie is joined by her guest, Evelyn, who will be introduced shortly. But Susie is currently the director of client engagement and special events at FLY. FLY is Fresh Lifelines for youth, and Susie will be talking more about FLY's mission and what they do. But she's been with them for 16 years, which is amazing. And she'll be talking a little bit more about that history. Susie, if you'd like to take it away from here, please.
Yes, thank you so much. And before I get started, I'd love to introduce you to one of my favorite people in the world, Evelyn, who is currently a FLY alumni who's been through our programs and continues to come back and volunteer to impact other youth who come through the programs. And so she'll have a chance to share her story. Do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I just want to say my name's Evelyn. I've been with this program for 3 years now. 3 years because I love it. And currently I am now helping fund a program called YAC. Where we can counsel youth involved in the system. And I will be sharing my story in just a minute. So hold on and thank you for watching.
Fantastic. So I'm going to share the PowerPoint. Oops, I went too far ahead. You guys can see it okay? Yeah. And as Mitty said, I'm Susie Rivera. I'm the Director of Client Engagement and Special Events for FLY. I've been with FLY for 16 years, and it's been an incredible journey to meet with some of the most talented, incredible young people in the world. And I'm excited to be here today to talk about what FLY does, especially since we live in a country that incarcerates more kids than any other place in the world. And it's very interesting to think we're a leader in many things, but it's unfortunate that we're a leader in incarcerating our young people. And research shows that more than 50% of our young people return to the system upon release. And so what we do know is the more often kids are incarcerated, they also have a higher chance of getting back into the system. And that could be detrimental because it costs quite a bit to incarcerate our young people. If you look at just the Bay Area numbers, it costs about $525 a night for a youth and almost $200,000 a year to incarcerate our young people. So if you look at the overall cost of incarceration in terms of system involvement for our young people and how much it's costing us to do that, we can really look at more cost-efficient ways to serve our young people in a way that's going to benefit them from exiting the JJ system, hopefully avoiding the adult system and being productive in the day-to-day life, as I have the opportunity to see many of our youth. And just think about it when you're looking at different tuition costs for colleges and high schools, and it's a fraction of the cost of incarceration, but they're having better results. And we'll have a chance to talk about some of the cost savings to FLY in a little bit as well. Also, for a lot of our young people, there's many, many different barriers that our young people are facing as they enter the system. And as we work with our young people, we continue to ask them different questions of what challenges they're facing, what different barriers that they're coming across, what issues they are dealing with at home and in the community. And a lot of the answers definitely correlate with the different overall research that's being done out in the field as well. So the top answers that the youth usually give us is access to positive adult role models, also lacking the skills in different areas to problem solve without using violence or crime, and also the different trauma that our young people have faced. For many of our kids, They may come from a home that one or both their parents have been incarcerated. They may have come from a home that they have seen one of their parents be abused by the other, or one of their parents be hurt or violently murdered by somebody in the community. So these are the different traumas that our youth are facing. And without it being addressed or proper services put in place, you can find it usually for where our young people are then entering in the system. And a lot of times, our youth also continue to make poor choices after having a lot of this exposure that they may not engage in school. And we definitely know there's a lot of research out there that shows that kids who are not engaged in school or have a higher chance of entering the system as well. And so these are the different barriers that we see at FLY and that we're helping to try to address as well. And at FLY, we believe that all our children deserve a chance to become more than their past mistakes. And FLY was founded because we believe that our youth not only deserve a chance to be more than their mistakes, that youth can break the cycle of violence and crime and incarceration. And with the right motivation, support, and skills, that they really can accomplish anything. And having been here for 16 years, seeing it day to day, it's almost like I feel like I've seen too much. I have to keep going and keep helping to provide access to opportunity and provide the opportunity for our young people to shine in our community. And with that being said, how FLY was founded was on the youth voice. Our founder and chief executive officer was doing volunteer work in juvenile hall. And actually, she went in for selfish reasons. She wanted to see what the inside of the hall looked like. She was going to beef up her resume. What she didn't realize is that she was going to meet some of the most incredible young people in the world and have FLY born. So when she went into the facility and she met these young men that are facing very long sentences, she just didn't understand, like, how is this young person facing this very long 10, 15 years of juvenile life sentence when they're talented and incredible, and they're sitting and having this conversation? And so she asked them, you know what, I'm going to be graduating Stanford Law School. What can I do? And the kids came up with the core values of FLY. And the kids said, well, what you could do, Krista, is if only I knew what I did was wrong, what was against the law. Because a lot of our kids don't realize when they're just with somebody that they also could be incarcerated. If only I had a positive adult role model, right? If only we had, a chance, to give back into the community. And so with that, and all those if-onlys, Krista wrote a application for George Soros Fellowship, and she took all the letters of recommendations from the young people, and FLY was born. And when people ask us why FLY, why was FLY successful, it's because Krista really listened to the young people, and that's what FLY still does today, and really created the programs, right? So they wanted to learn about the law. We have our legal education program. They want to have positive adult role model. Well, any of our programs would have a positive adult role model, but we have our mentoring and leadership program, and give us a way back to, give us a way to give back to our community with all the different service learning opportunities we have in our leadership program. So FLY was born, and when FLY started, she got $32,500 worth of funding and started out on the east side of San Jose with about 25 youth and a couple of volunteers. And if you fast forward to today, FLY is across 3 counties, Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, and Alameda County. And our budget is over $5.1 million. We have over 55 staff, and we're serving a couple thousand youth in all different capacities, whether it's our legal education or mentoring or leadership training, and doing very, very important system change work, and helping to, give our perspective on how to have more effective processes available, whether it's in our system, in our community, in education. And so FLY is invited to the tables quite often to be a thought partner on how to best serve our young people. Oops, what happened? Sorry, technical difficulty. And here's the slides that show you what I was talking about a few minutes ago with our youth and the quotes that they shared. And for a lot of our youth, and when I get to talk to them, it comes down to some basic human needs, right? Being cared about, having hope for the future, and really feeling like they matter. And I think this is something that our youth feel when they have a chance to give back, when they understand their self-worth and know that they can make huge difference not only in their lives, but the lives of other people too. And so definitely breaking the cycle. When we got started and took these ideas of our youth, and we also compared their ideas with best practices and research, and made sure we aligned with being the most efficient and effective at what we do. So yes, we are incredibly good at making sure we listen and incorporate youth voice. At the same time, let's really look at research and what is out there in terms of best practices and how we can be the best we can so that we could serve more youth in more places, but also be very, very effective and aligned with practices that work with young people. And so it's we've done a lot of work looking at brain development, and we definitely know that research has proved that our brains are still forming until the mid-20s. And so for a lot of our young people, we give them opportunity to not just know that educationally, but also give them a place to practice that, you know, how to control that impulsivity and whatnot. So Fly believes that we really can build on the youth strengths and help them be successful in everything that they do, and kids who know better do better. And also being transparent about what it is that we are doing in the service delivery portion of it as well. Here's a map of all the areas that we talked about as we started in one little piece of San Jose, and really looking at the entire place. And we're only in 3 counties. You know, I was talking to a youth the other day, and he's one of our ambassadors, and he continues to come back speaking and also serving on our council. And I asked him, why do you do this? Why do you come back, you know, to be a Fly? And I thought, oh, it's because Fly people are awesome, and I want to eat some good food. And usually that's in there as well. But he said that he comes back to be an ambassador for Fly because he really believes that other youth out there have and deserve to have a chance that he got. And that he wants to make sure that more and more people learn about Fly, that are supporting Fly, so that all youth in different areas, no matter what zip code, have the opportunity to be their best selves. And I just thought that was very powerful to know a young person is not only thinking about themselves and, you know, their own family unit and community, but youth everywhere that can definitely benefit from Fly. So with Fly, I talked about having our different programs. We have our legal education, our leadership training and mentoring. I'll talk very, very briefly about each one of those. And then we also have other programs that are on the prevention side of the house and also our aftercare services. So what that means is kids like in our middle school program and also in facilities when we're working with a lot of our kids in facilities. So I'll share a little bit about these programs, and then I'll turn it over to Evelyn to share her story before we move on to the concluding part of our presentation. Sound good? All right. So legal education, it's a semester-long legal education program where not only are the youth learning about the law and how the law applies to each of them, but also used as a vehicle to teach different life skills like anger management, conflict resolution. I don't know about you, but I know I definitely have sat with a 15-year-old and 16-year-old, and if I ever said, hey, you want to talk about anger management, they might give me the finger and say, expletive, no, I'm cool. But if I sit down and talk about, hey, you have court tomorrow, do you want me to talk about what it's going to look like? Do you want to talk to your judge? Do you want some help role playing through how you can talk to your probation officer or your attorney? They are very, very interested. And for a lot of our youth, they're really interested in the system in general. And after they've gone through their transformation, you want to find a career in the helping profession somewhere as well. So they definitely get to learn about that. And in our legal education, for a lot of our youth, they come to the program and they may not realize that there's changes that need to be made in their lives. And we hope to move them through our services to thinking about, all right, I might have some behaviors that I do need to change. And then that's when they're ready to go into the leadership training program. And in our leadership training program, it's a 1-year long program where they're matched with a case manager who's going to really help do a baseline assessment and really look at what behaviors need what services to help move the needle with that. And they also get to be in a positive peer group and do a lot of the service learning and giving back to the community component of it. And they have access to a case manager 24/7 who's going to help them in different areas of their life, maybe re-engage them with school, maybe help them find a job, and also be that continuous person in their life. And I know Evelyn will get to talk about that in her experience a little bit. In our mentoring program, it's one-on-one. We have mentors who are volunteers in the community, professionals, students, different people who really care about being mentoring. And we matched our young people with a volunteer mentor for 1 year. And they're able to have a one-on-one relationship, and the mentor supports them in all different areas of their life, attends court with them, and FLY continues to sponsor different trainings and events every month to help support that relationship. And we have a lot of different mentoring components, which are really awesome, focusing on different pieces of the system that we want to do some system change work around as well. And these are just some great pictures of our programs. Some of our community service, and you'll probably definitely get to talk about the retreat and some community service. And I love, and the other thing, the one thing I like to say too is our COFFR program is a subset in our mentoring program where we do some extra trainings with our volunteer mentors, and they actually get sworn in by the court. And it's a court-appointed friendly advocate where a mentor not only is mentoring the youth, but they show up to every court hearing to be an advocate and serve a court report for our young people to really help a young person successfully complete probation or a court program and really help communicate all the work that a young person's doing. Because sometimes a young person, for instance, could be, going to school and doing different things, but struggling in different areas and nobody understands why. And the advocate's able to help shed some light on, what, there might have been a mistake here, but let's not negate all the hard work this young person is making because of the mistake. And so the advocate is not only there as a support, but able to really help bring together the whole system and everybody that's there trying to help the young person succeed as well. And then, as I said, we have a middle school program where our older youth go back and touch the lives of our young people. And we really started this because our kids made it very clear to us that a lot of their negative behaviors or poor choices started in middle school. So we wanted to make sure that we listened to our young people and created that program. And aftercare. So, and Evelyn's going to talk about this too. And this is why I waited for this piece so you can share about it, because that's where you first met us, is for a lot of our youth who are incarcerated. And so we go in and do a legal education, we do some mentoring and work with our youth who are in facilities and help follow them after incarceration to provide some case management so they successfully can complete their probation terms on that. And I'll talk about Youth Advisory Council after Evelyn shares her story, and then we'll kind of conclude. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, go for it.
I just want to share a little fast part of my story before meeting FLY and before I was at this spot. Well, today I do a lot of volunteer work with them just because I believe in this program and everything they do. It's very, very inspirational and unbelievable because not everybody knows about this experience and the support you get. So I just want to help my community and make the best out of it. Right now, I am working at Macy's I was promoted like 6 months after getting the job. So I have now a brand that I can manage and sell away until I meet my goal. Also, I got enrolled with the help of Fly into a community college and preparing myself to transfer to San Jose State. But before all this like nice events, I had to struggle a lot. And everything started when I was young. When I was young, I had a drug addict father. He was always drinking as well. I know a lot of times we had to move around just because he would always spend his paychecks on alcohol and drugs. He never paid the rent, and most of the time we didn't have enough to eat. Also, my mom was not familiar with a lot of programs like Second Harvest Food Bank. So here and there, her friends will give her some food. It was heartbreaking to see her cry, but we didn't really know. We didn't know what was going on. We thought my dad was working because he was always out, and that's what she would tell us. Until one day my dad came back after a long time of disappearing. We were lucky enough to have a good neighbor, and she would always invite us to eat or, take care of us when my mom had to go to work. My mom used to sell oranges at the Stockton Park, and one of my uncles will help her because she wasn't able to get a job. She wasn't born here. She was an immigrant. So it was very hard for us to be financially stable. Well, after this event, my dad came home one day and he was very intoxicated. And for some reason, this is my first memory of him beating my mother. He came in very, very mad, and he took off his belt and he was just hitting her. And it was painful to see that my mom was getting hit by this aggressive person that we thought it was her father. Seeing her cry and say, leave, shut the door, don't watch this, and us not being able to help her, it really, really traumatized us, me and my brother. So many times this happened that we had to see our mom getting beaten down by her dad. And we started thinking it was okay. We didn't see it like it was a 911 anymore. It hurted us seeing my mom cry, but it was giving us it made us know that it was okay to resolve problems by hitting people. Well, after that, we left my father because he left us stranded one time in Las Vegas, and he got incarcerated. We were there. My mom had to sell her own DVD cassettes and to get us back into San Jose. And I remember some lady at the park, she bought her the movies and she told her she would help us, and she gave her some money for us to go back to San Jose. After that, I know I never had any new pair of shoes, nothing. I never had a good role model, and I was just mad because I didn't have a dad, and my mom was getting beat, and she didn't really have a job. So I started fighting a lot in elementary and fourth grade, so I would just take my anger out, and, that's where everybody started noticing me and my brother were changing. After all this, in 2009, my grandfather passed away. So this is another big experience that changed me a lot. I had to go to Mexico, and Mexico is very, very different from US. You do get a lot of freedom, and you're exposed to a lot of stuff that young kids shouldn't see, gangs or minor clubs or just gang fights. You're able to buy cigarettes, alcohol, all drugs are just right around the corner, and a lot of criminal activity happens there, and not everybody's able to get help because they're very poor in Mexico. Having a lot of freedom was something that I liked. Even though the situation over there was bad, living conditions were bad, I liked it because I was able at 12 years old to go out with my friends, don't come home until 5 in the morning, drink, do drugs. Also I was, they showed me how to steal over there. So all my friends will, they have something for stealing, for robbing people. And, many times I did that. I helped them. I've seen them, and then I started doing myself. And, I got myself in a lot of trouble where my mom had to send me back to San Jose. I came back, and I had to live with my dad. We all thought he had changed. He offered his help, and we're like, okay, let's go. After so many years, I even forgot who he was or how he acted. We came back with our dad, and, it was a very terrible decision. Unluckily, he was still the same. We were living with him, but we were on our own. He would be drunk. He'll be drug out in the couch, and we didn't know if he was good or not. I had to take myself to middle school. I was 13 years old, getting up by myself, walking myself to school, bringing myself to school. Honestly, he didn't even care if I came back or not. He didn't even know what school I even went to. Most of the time I had my aunt come pick me up when I got in trouble. It was hard just to not have somebody to care for you or to tell you what to do. I was 13. I was barely turning into a young lady, and I didn't have somebody to lead me the right way. So I became very strongly involved in gangs, because usually gangs, it's like a family. You feel like they're the ones supporting you. They're the ones helping you steal stuff. It's all these kids that are mistreated. We all gather up, and we all have similar lifestyles, and we feel good around each other. So I ended up going to an alternative school, and there I met many more kids, and we would go out and drink. And honestly, I left school. I would go once or twice a week just so we can go out and drink and smoke weed. After I stopped going to my house, and I would just stay at my friend's house. It was hard because I didn't know nothing, or even what is expected of me as a young lady, or how to approach guys, or just having morals, discipline, nothing. I didn't know nothing, and I had to learn it on my own. So I got a little bit out of hand. I got involved into gangs where now violence for me was very normal. Actually, I never thought the life I would have today was even existed. I thought gang lifestyle was just everybody was a gangster. That's how I thought. But so I ended up stealing, and then I depended on a knife, on weapons, and I would use weapons to get whatever I needed. I abused from weapons because I didn't see any consequences until one day I was taken into custody at 14 years old for a lot of cases of strong arm robbery. When I got incarcerated, then my mom came back into my life and was supporting me because I found out I was pregnant, incarcerated. And then after that, I found out I was also facing an 8 to 12 month sentence. That meant I was going to spend my whole pregnancy incarcerated. And at this point, I was very confused because I was pregnant, and I had to change, but then I didn't know another life. So I just started to go to school and get very involved in education and talking to every adult as much as possible. And I participated in every program available in juvenile hall. It was very hard as well to be in juvenile hall pregnant because you weren't treated as a human being. I felt like they put you more down. And most of the kids, by the time I was there, came back 2 or 3 times. And there, the staff are supposed to be counselors, but for me, they felt like they weren't helping enough. Like, you're not supposed to come back after you're incarcerated, and these kids felt like this was some type of camp or something, you know. But also, not having all of them didn't have their parents around, and that's something that very strongly impacts your life, not having to support a good role model. After completing my time, I did change a lot during my incarceration, where the point I had my counselors writing letters to the judge to release me because they thought I was ready. After I went to court, the judge thought I was ready, and everybody was surprised. I was able to leave 4 days before I had my son. And after I had my son, Fly approached me and gave me an opportunity into their program. At first, I thought they bugged a lot, honestly. They were like, hey, where are you? Can we meet you? Can we have meetings? And it was annoying because I never had somebody to care for me like this. And until they started coming and talking about education, getting a job. And I'm like, is it even possible? Where did they have this? Or how am I even going to graduate? So what I love is that you were able to get support whenever needed. You were able to call this person and say, hey, I need to go to school. I need to go sign up. I need, I have an interview. How do I do a resume? The aftercare program took really care of me and giving me a lot of resources, just knowing about the community and what I can do while being out. They also kept me entertained and busy, so I won't be able to go back with the friendships, my bad friendships that I had before. After completing Fly program, the aftercare program, they called me in to help and volunteer at the leadership. Leadership was very, very different. I loved it, honestly, because it's a whole year, and the reason why you come back is because you have more kids doing the same thing. When it's just you changing by yourself, it's more difficult because you think it's just you don't have support. And when you have another group of children, then you feel like it's more people. It's more like a community, and then you encourage yourself to change. So Fly was just very, very special to me. I think it's a great program to help kids change, and I would always come back when they need me. If I get a chance, I would love to work here. I just love it that much. So yeah, just wanted to share my story and just say how Fly has helped me change. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be right now. And honestly, they're magic. Magic. I talk about them all the time. And I hope you enjoyed my story and enjoy our fun facts about our program. Thank you for watching.
I'm going to hug you.
Oh, thank you.
I can listen to you speak for hours. You're so amazing. So hopefully we're not too much over time. I think I'll just end up doing concluding factors because I definitely, I love listening to Evelyn speak. But a couple things. We have really cool things like a youth advisory council where youth voice is being brought across the county instead of just that Fly. Please feel free to look at the rest of our slides in terms of impact. And I know I talked earlier about how youth that are incarcerated, a large percentage of them go back. Well, if you see with their outcomes, and you'll pay attention to the 95% rate, that after completing our program, that 95% do not get a new offense during the program year, which means they don't go back into the system, which is incredible. And really getting the tools to resist a lot of peer pressure and wanting to come back and give back to Fly and being amazing. And so it's just really exciting. Thank you all for listening and helping, and hopefully you'd want to help instill hope in our young people, be a positive role model with us, and knowing that Fly's impact in all the communities that we serve is tremendous. And we would love to have your support in all that we do. And I would also say, and I think it's at the end of our presentation, I included a slide, but the next time you see a youth, be intentional, give them a smile, acknowledge their presence. Next time there's something on the ballot that has to do with young people, pay attention to the voting because it impacts our young people. And what does that mean? And also that, let someone know about Fly. If you're interested, I'm sure that they'll have my contact information here. Please contact us. We'd love to have positive Rotary members come be mentors with us, support us, help spread the word for us, and also get to meet amazing Evelyns all across our different counties. So I think I'll conclude it so we can definitely get up to questions that you guys might have.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for the presentation. I was going to ask you to exit the share screen if you get that chance. And I had a couple questions for you. Again, thank you so much, both Susie and Evelyn, for your presentations. So Susie, you've been involved with Fly for 16 years now.
Yes.
So wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you've seen Fly grow in the past 16 years, and maybe also focus a little bit about what are some of the services you guys have really been working on growing in the past few years, and what is Fly like today versus where it was 16 years ago when you first started?
Oh my gosh, well, there's so much, but I think what comes to mind is the one thing that stays, I think, constant with Fly is youth voice. So we continue, that's the same thing, right? I think the same thing that stays continuous is youth voice, and continue to allow youth to have a voice and to impact Fly and evaluate Fly in that way. And finding ways that can impact larger system change. So I think what's really different is Fly has not only proven to be effective, but we've really backed up all of our programs with research and best practices. And also, I would say, I think Evelyn said magic, and what is that recipe for magic so we can make it repeatable, right? Because a lot of us that work in the field in the beginning, it's listening to our young people, using our intuition, but really bottling the recipe for success so we can share it as we move on to other counties. So I guess what's different is we're smarter, right? We're effective, and we know what's working instead of just like, we're just gonna love our youth through this. Yes, we're gonna love, but also there's important ingredients for success of how do we move the needle for behavioral change and for our young people to reach goals and to also impact the system in a positive way. Does that answer your question? Was there a say? Oh, yeah. The other part of that is the other thing that we've been working hard on that I've been able to really focus on quite a bit is, as Fly has grown, our alumni network also has grown, not just for staff and volunteers, but our young people. So I have young people that come in that are 30 years old now that I've worked with 15 years ago. And a lot of times they come in and I'm like, you're 30? How are you 30? I'm 30. They're like, you're not 30. I'm like, well, I could pretend I'm 30. But anyways, it's definitely amazing to see them want to come back because they felt like there was a significant change that happened here and come back to be volunteers, come back to be staff. And we also wanted to create a way for our youth to have, from programs like a transitional place where they can continue to practice their transformative changes and also be Fly ambassadors. So we've put together a speech committee. So kids who've graduated or completed our programs have a chance to serve on that, where not only are they continue to be positive peer role models and also getting to practice the changes they've made, but they get to learn different skills in public speaking so they could be effective at what they're doing and be Fly ambassadors in the work we do. And in our speech committee, we still have a very strength-based approach in all of our philosophies and everything that we approach Fly by all the different things that we do, that we give the youth an opportunity to back us up and continue to help people support Fly and build a skill set where they can, for instance, go out for a job interview and they have all the confidence in the world that they're going to be fantastic in that interview because they've had a lot of practice public speaking. And so And just from this interview, it's very clear you all probably enjoyed listening to Evelyn way more than me. And that's all of our speech committee youth. That's it.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. I want to pinpoint on something specific that Evelyn actually mentioned. So in her story, she mentioned that you guys reached out to her after she had, she was out there, and then she had her son. And so my question is, how do you actually find these young participants? Because it actually sounds like you guys actually find them, and they don't always find you guys.
Well, we definitely get our youth in a lot of different ways. So for a lot of our youth, depending on what program, we may have a referral from the system. It could be from the bench, so from the judge, from the probation department, and different players in the system that will refer our young people into our program, whether it was aftercare or legal education. And other partners in the field. It could be educators, community partners, and now we're in a place where youth refer youth, which is pretty cool. And sometimes youth will hear about Fly. And so when you have a, youth, because a lot of youth don't like a lot of the programs, to be honest, and they'll do them to do them, and they'll like some of them, and they'll take certain things from them. But so when you have a youth really saying, hey, you should go do the Fly program, that carries a lot of weight, because for some of our young people, they might just be doing it to go through the motions, so to speak, and not really be taking what's happening. So we get a lot of referrals, and we're also very present in the system, and we definitely go meet the kids where they're at, and that's a part of our success, because a lot of our kids might have transportation issues and other issues that may hinder their ability to be successful in programming, and we make sure that we meet them in the community, meet them at their home, pick them up, brainstorm transportation issues, and it really depends on which program and how they get in, but that's pretty much all the different ways that they find us so we can find them.
Awesome. And is there a geographic limitation to your guys' current scope? I know that you had 2 counties listed in that slide, Santa Clara County being one of them. Are you limited to just finding participants in that area, or do you guys just take in everyone in the Bay Area?
So we currently serve 3 counties in the Bay Area. We're in Alameda County, San Mateo County, and Santa Clara County. So we serve kids across all 3 of those counties, and we have offices in all 3 of those counties. I guess that's one of the big changes too, because when I started, we used to work out of the trunk of my car and at the public defender's office, and now we actually have office space, supported by our funder. So that's fantastic. But yeah, so we serve in all 3 of those areas, and in the particular areas in those counties that have the most need, right? So depending on where the institution is that we're serving, and also the community piece of where there's a highest need with our youth in particular areas of the county. So yeah, in those 3 counties, and we'll be looking at a 4th area, but we figured we couldn't expand outside if we haven't tackled the Bay Area yet. So we've really been focusing and concentrating our efforts here. And seeing how to expand. And it's hard because you look all around us and there's different ways to go in California, right? You're like, wow, there's a need here. There might be a need over here and a need here. And so really figuring out which county are we ready to take on next, and which one has the sustainability in terms of funding and the biggest need for us to jump in as well.
Okay, and so the next question is really tied to that. So where do you see Fly in 5 to 10 years? And you talked about expansion. So are we talking about expansion throughout California, just in the Bay Area, or are you thinking bigger?
Well, I have big dreams always, so I'm always going to have a bigger answer. But I definitely see Fly at least in 2 counties in the next 5 years. Hopefully across the state in 5 years. 10 years. What do you think? At least.
I was already thinking Chicago, New York.
We should really look at other places. Okay, so this is what I say. In 10 years, we at least in 4 more counties, plus we're taking over the state of California and identifying other states that need us.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
awesome.
I know that's a big, ambitious goal, but I definitely know that we will at least have a couple other counties. And the thing is, I know some people give us a hard time for expanding at a slower rate, but we never want to jeopardize our quality of service ever. And we want to bring the very best of Fly that we can when we're ready to enter an area. And as much as we want to jump in and serve the youth immediately. We also know it takes funding, it takes time, and we want to have the right recipe for success so that we can definitely go in there and give what the kids deserve and have the outcomes that we deserve as well.
Awesome. And Evelyn, I want to give you a chance to also talk a little bit too. I actually had a question for you. So if, you had the opportunity to tell someone who's young, and maybe the 14-year-old version of yourself, for example, what would you tell them about Fly? And if maybe they've heard of the Fly program, maybe they watched this video, but they're still not really convinced on whether or not, it's a program that would fit for them. What would you tell them?
Well, honestly, I think I would just tell them about the activities. What you get to do and how you have mentors supporting you. A lot of kids
what happened?
I can still hear you guys. You're good.
A lot of kids usually don't have a lot of support, or they feel like the only activity is being at the corner of their hood. But if you tell them, hey, you know what, so goes here, we have couple other ex-gang members who are there, who enjoys them, you get to meet new people, you can probably build professional skills, it helps you with your probation officer, you connect with your probation officer, and you don't have issues with the system. A lot of the kids are not on good terms with their POs, so like letting them know that it would put them on better terms with them will kind of likely have them to stay there. Also, the activities, food, and just the people also matters. And
food.
Yeah, just being very friendly with them and just saying, hey, like if your parents out there, these people can take you to school. They can go to your court, you can get a scholarship, if you're the first generation, most of us, which are, they will offer you scholarships, and you know what? You'll be having a car when you grow up. You'll be out of this neighborhood. Just offering them the positive effects of coming through the program, they'll likely change their mind for the most part. But yeah, just the programs, activities, and the people, I'm pretty sure people will get very interested.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that response. Susie is going to be the last question, but I want to give you the chance to maybe plug in some of the different ways people can get involved if they're watching this presentation and they're thinking, wow, this is a really great program. I know that on your site, there are different opportunities, everything from donating to volunteering. I actually wanted to hear a little bit more about maybe does it mean to be a Fly ambassador, and maybe if you want to briefly plug the internships, but also I know you guys have a special event coming up as well.
Yes, I have so many things. Okay, so I'll try to make it, if you haven't learned this by now, I could talk a whole lot, but I try to fit in a lot of different things, and I'll make it brief as possible. So we definitely have our huge spring event coming up on April 13th. It's definitely on our website, and I'm sure our website stuff and everything will be up. But www.flyprogram.org, and it's our Taste of Fresh Lifelines for Youth. We have a special performance happening. It's an evening event at Fox Theater, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Actually, Evelyn will be sharing her full story at that event, and it's the first time Evelyn's actually done something like this, so it's a big deal for her to share her story in this way. And so if you definitely want to come out, you can get tickets and come out to the event. It's going to be a lot of fun to meet all of our youth and staff, and there'll be a lot of games and different things to engage with Fly. A couple of different ways you can get involved if you want to volunteer. Volunteering is amazing and huge for us. And so there's different opportunities. We definitely have internship opportunities at Fly, but we also have volunteer opportunities for the everyday professional that's working in the field that can definitely benefit the lives of our youth. And as one of our volunteers always said it, that they felt like they benefited from having the youth in their life. And so if you feel like you can commit to 1 year with our young person, definitely do that. We have tons of other volunteer opportunities, like facilitating a legal education class. You'll definitely have a lot of training on that. So if you're something you're interested in, or you're passionate about teaching or learning about the law and teaching it in a group setting, that's another way. We have a lot of other different really cool volunteer setups across the agency. There are more one-offs or done in a day. So a lot of different things I'm able to do is work with corporations and different businesses. If they want to do a tour or a workshop, if you have a special skill that you want to share and do a kind of a workshop for our young people, that's something that we're definitely open to. Another one is definitely invest. If it's something that you want to put your philanthropic dollars towards, please definitely help support Fly, because your support helps it make it possible for us to bring the services to our young people. And it's and hopefully get to meet you too, and have you as a thought partner in a lot of the things that we do. And being a Fly ambassador is a huge one, and you could do that in different ways. Telling Fly, after watching this presentation, telling one person about Fly, learning about different youth things that are coming up in the community, and weigh in on that. And also you can host your own Wi-Fi to friends, maybe at your workplace or at your home. If you want to invite a small group of people to come over, myself or our CEO and a youth like Evelyn will come out and share the Fly story, and having some light appetizers and snacks. And so we definitely do that. And lots of other different ways in the community that you can be a Fly ambassador by sharing about Fly, forwarding our information to others, sharing it on your social media pages, and having people learn about us is definitely very important. And also, do all of that or one of those things, but the next time you see a youth, please acknowledge their presence and smile. And a smile goes a long way. There's definitely times where I'm meeting, I'll see a young person I don't know, and I smile, and they get weirded out, like, do I know you? And I'm like, no. And they're like, why are you smiling? I go, because I'm just smiling. And they're like, wow, like it's tripping me out, but they can't help to smile at the same time, right? So we have a really cool moment of exchange. So definitely just acknowledge our young people in the community, and know that even just by a quick smile, you definitely could be changing their day, or it could be between them deciding that they don't want to be here anymore to like they have enough hope to stay around for another day. So that's definitely, I'm sure I can come up with a lot of other stuff, but those are the ones in the forefront of my mind of how you can get involved. And follow us. Go on our Twitter, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and all of our social media posts. And that would be fantastic, because you can kind of keep up with all the different cool things that we're doing at Fly.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That is all the time we have for questions. I want to thank all of our viewers out there for tuning in, sticking with us for this awesome presentation about Fly. Links to the Fly website as well as their social media links will be right below this video, as well as a link to their special event coming up in April, and also some of the different ways to get involved. So definitely explore, check them out, follow them, and like them. Susie, I'm going to turn it over to you for a final comment, and then we'll say bye to everyone.
Final comment. How do I sum that up into one? I would say, and do you have a final comment too?
I just want to say thank you for watching and talk about Fly. Fly, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you so much for spending the last half hour with us and learning about Fly and being willing to listen to us. And please pick one of the suggestions of how to get involved, whether it's from a smile or getting deeply involved with our agency. And our youth deserve it, and you deserve to meet our youth. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you guys in next week. Bye now.
Bye.